Good morning, my fellow adventurers. Welcome back to Living the Grand Adventure. I'm Kevin. Day 2 here at the Shawnee State Forest. Woke up with a threat of rain. Did see a little sprinkle earlier, so I kind of rushed my pack up. I got up at 7:45. It is now 8:15, and I'm basically packed up other than what goes on outside of my pack. Do have the GoPro set in storm mode, just in case if it would come in a rain. However, I do see blue sky blue clouds, guys. Blue sky out this direction, so hopefully the threat of rain is kind of abated for now. But I did get everything into the pack pretty much dry. The tent is a slight bit damp, but nothing to worry about. It shouldn't get anything in the pack wet. Beautiful morning though, other than the threat of rain. Really kind of enjoyed this site. I slept really well. I was asleep before 10 o'clock, and I slept till about 6:30. Woke up, stretched a little bit, got out of the tent. Like I said, about 7:45, because I did doze back off for a minute, but that's okay. Get a good look at this creek down here today. It's definitely a nice sight, and I don't know, because of course I just have the GoPro mics. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but that's what I listen to all night long. Just the creek running the entire night, and just bugs. There was a bird, I'm not sure what type it was, that started out right over in here, this direction from the site, and moved its way down through the valley at about 2 o'clock. It did wake me up initially because it sounded like a whistle, but it was more of a, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a woo, 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 and you know, it continued to do that. And then I heard it again this morning out this direction, back behind the site, out this way, for a couple minutes. But it was kind of neat. That did wake me up, mainly because it was just, you know, kind of dead silent, bugs, creek, and then all of a sudden you hear that, and it was pretty loud because it echoed in the valley here. But all I've got left to do basically is eat, finish packing this stuff on the outside, which is like a 3-minute job. And then I'm gonna be on trail heading out this direction. I'm shooting for minimum site 4, which really should be doable, no problem. I'm hoping to get to site 3. But let me go ahead and get breakfast. Then we'll get on trail, guys, and we'll see what we see for the day. It is actually, with the clouds, it's kind of dark down in here. It's very, very interesting. I decided to take this trail here. Oh, check this out. The GoPro's picking that up. It says Eastern Hemlock. May have to do a little bit of brightness on this area once I actually edit the video. It's quite dark down in this valley with the cloud cover and such. Just as a pretty little view right here. But if you notice how dark it is in here, there's so much, basically it's new growth forest, and it's just so cluttered with trees. The canopy is very thick. Of course, it is well before 9 o'clock. It's just now 8:30. So that's not too bad. A 45-minute pack up and breakfast. I'm digging it. Now this is the prettiest area I've been in since I started the trail. Wish it was sunnier, a little bit brighter, because you guys aren't being able to enjoy it as much as I am. I mean, even then, it is still kind of gloomy in here. There's actually still some blue sky up there. It's just the sun hasn't breached the top of these hills yet. Kind of moving away from this creek. Gonna start heading uphill. I knew it was pretty sudden that we would do that. And if you notice, this is the 3rd tree that I've had to come across like this morning. Whereas yesterday, heading to site 6, I didn't have any. So, not as much maintenance in this area. But being this remote, I understand that. further you get away from trailheads, the less maintenance there's going to be. So far, not too bad this morning. Hopefully I could do this for maybe a half a mile or so just to wake the legs up, and then if we have an incline, fine. But I like being able to get a little bit of up and down and flat to wake those legs up before you immediately hit an incline. Just came up a series of switchbacks that weren't cut too sharply. A little bit of an incline, but nothing I couldn't handle. Good way to get the legs really worked out this morning. But one thing I wanted to comment on, I know that I don't have the actual mic on the GoPro, but listen. This has to be the quietest forest I've ever been in. I mean, other than a little bit of cicada right up over here, there's not a sound in the woods. And that's actually kind of eerie, because, you know, this time of day, you'd expect some birds. I didn't even hear a lot of birds this morning at all. And I just wonder if it's where they're logging the northern loop. You know, everything's kind of getting out of the area. It's really interesting because it is so quiet. It's really eerie with how quiet it is. And I just figured I'd make a comment on that because it was kind of like that yesterday. And I figured maybe because it was midday. And of course, the bugs did pick up at night as we got closer to dusk. But today, I don't know. It's really weird. But this is the path, now that I've kind of come off that creek, and you can actually see it a little bit better. I know it was dark down in there, but we got a little bit of opening. It's a little bit better. There's a lot of dew on the grass. Consequently, my feet are a little damp. Nothing to worry about though. Once again, tons of spider webs. I'm just using my trekking poles right now to knock them off while it's flat. It's a little bit easier when it's flat. That's one thing I have to complain about. I get in a rhythm, especially when I'm going uphill, and then I walk into a spider web, and that completely disrupts that rhythm. And that stinks. Probably coming up on a decent incline, because I know I will be getting up on a ridge shortly. And that'll probably be a steep incline. If it's anything like what it was on the other side to come down into here, it's not going to be fun. I don't think it's supposed to be quite as bad. I definitely would not have wanted to go up that, especially with all those rocks. Just to give you an idea on some of the inclines, this is actually not the worst I've seen, but it goes way back down there around the corner over here. And you come up this way to where I'm at, and we still have this. Yeah, definitely some elevations here at Shawnee. It's not too bad though. I mean, I'm handling it. Just figure I'd take a break for a second, show you what this looks like. Like I said, I've seen a couple a little bit worse, but there have been a number just like this. So we're way up here now, out of the valley. No rain yet. The sun has peeked through a couple different times, so that's been awesome. It is just now 9:50, so I've only been on trail about an hour and 10 minutes, so it's not too bad. And I know I'm well over 2 miles. I've been climbing for a hot minute, guys. That's a lot of elevation. I mean, even after what I showed you just a few minutes ago, it continued to go up. I had a little flat spot, and then I come up probably triple that, if not more. A lot of elevation, but I think I'm up on top of the ridge for right now, if you can tell. Definitely high. This is my view. I mean, there's not much because it's so overgrown. In the fall and early spring, you would have some really awesome views right here. Even in winter, you know, really awesome views. I've seen a lot of people actually hike this trail on YouTube in the winter, and that may be why they do it, because there is no views right now. I mean, it's pretty, but it's very, very overgrown. It looks like I actually still have a little bit of incline here, but nothing major. Not compared to what I've been doing. I think I'm gonna get to Site 5. I'm not sure if there's an offshoot trail to it or not. If it's not too far into Site 5, I might walk down in there and take maybe a 15-20 minute break. Get a little calorie intake and some water. And then we'll push on to Site 4 and see how we're doing. And as far as time, like I said, I'm gunning for Site 3. I'd really like to get to that site. It is just now 10 o'clock, well, 10 after 10. So really not too shabby. Still very early in the day and very comfortable weather for hiking. Granted, with the inclines and the elevation gain, I have been sweating a little bit, but I've been up on the ridge long enough now that I've kind of cooled off a little bit. There's no breeze, but I feel a little bit better, not as hot. Yeah, definitely even a little bit higher now. It's a nice little area. I did come across a spot back there where I would assume someone actually camped and put a fire directly on the trail. It was kind of crazy. I'm like, I mean, it's the most clear spot up here, for granted, you know, maybe they were worried about fire, but on the trail. And it's been recent. It was this summer, because there was still quite a bit of charcoal there, you know, quite a bit of the ashes and such. I wouldn't say in the last couple of weeks, but in the last month, I would definitely say that's a possibility. And I mean, yeah, this would be a great spot to camp, because I mean, you have full cell signal and everything. Because I did go ahead and stop, message my wife, let her know where I'm at, how things are going. Jenny let me know what's going on at home real quick. She asked what I thought about the trail and how I was enjoying it. I said, I'm having a good time, but the trail itself, for as little payoff that you're getting and the punishment that you endure doing it, it's not really worth it at this point in time. Like I said, this is a trail just to say, it's kind of like an achievement type trail. You know, you click a box and say, hey, lifetime achievement, did Shawnee. You know, I like the reason I'm out here. I'm doing it for the charity and all, but other than that, you know, I'm ready to just knock out the trail and head home, because I'm not really seeing anything that's worth it. And God, these spider webs are just killing me. Try to knock this one down so I don't step into it. I don't know, just for the amount of pain and punishment that you put yourself to do this hike. I mean, even a conditioned person would be like, yeah, this is a little rough. I mean, I'm sure there are through hikers that could blow this trail out like it ain't nothing. You know, I mean, they're used to doing quite a bit of miles a day and everything. But an average person who backpacks, like me, it's just not really worth it. I mean, there's plenty of other places, if I'm gonna take my time to go and hike and try to see something, at this point in time, there's plenty of other places I'd rather be. I mean, for punishment's sake, and almost the same amount of distance and travel time for me, Red River Gorge is a much better place. I mean, it's actually a little bit more punishing, but I mean, it's just a beautiful area. Here, this is what you get. This is the best scenery I've gotten, other than, you know, being beside the creek. So, I don't know. We'll see how the trail continues to go, guys. I mean, not really complaining, just giving you a point of view that, you know, there's other trails that are much better than this one. Well, guys, interesting development. There's a thunderstorm directly behind me. I've actually felt a little bit of sprinkle, so I grabbed the rain gear, got my phone down in a Ziploc bag, and kind of batten down the hatches a little bit, preparing for the storm. I am hearing thunder in the distance. Check the weather. It's supposed to come in on me. So I'm trying to get down off this ridge. But I got a ways to go before that happens. Nothing else. Maybe I can hunker down somewhere and just get out of the rain and the threat of lightning. Seems that a thunderstorm always rolls in on me at the most inopportune times. But back out that way, it's getting pretty dark in the sky, guys. Going to AccuWeather, it's supposed to be a pretty good downpour. Which one, would be kind of nice because it'll cool the air off some. Two, it'll knock some of these spider webs down, so I won't have to worry about those quite so much. But I will get wet, and the trail will be wet. So when I dip down into the valleys, I'm sure I'll see quite a bit of mud. Yeah, sun out this way, thunderstorm that way. Not a good combination. It only means it comes in pretty hard. Let me see if I can get off this ridge before it comes in on me, guys. Well, guys, I spilled out off the trail onto the service road. This is actually part of the trail, though. It's orange blazed, heading towards Site 5. I'm trying to outrun this thunderstorm so I can get somewhere with a little bit of cover. I'm actually wide open right now. I'd probably been better off if I'd have stopped back on the trail, but unfortunately I didn't realize. I knew there was a service road, but I don't know. I just wasn't really thinking I was trying to get to Site 5 because I'm sure there's some trees or whatnot. Maybe I can get underneath some cover and just ride out the storm. But it's right on my heels. The wind is actually starting to pick up a little bit. It's actually, you can tell it's starting to come in. I don't have to go up here and pick that up, but that was a big clap of thunder. It's, like I said, right behind me. I do have a little bit of signal. I looked at the radar on AccuWeather. It is 11 o'clock. This is supposed to be directly above me in about 25 minutes. So it should start raining any time now and just slowly start coming in. The wind's died down. Good chance it's coming in any moment. But I'm hoofing it, trying to get over to Site 5. Like I said, it's pretty smooth sailing right through here. Pretty flat. A couple of inclines and declines, but nothing major. Just kind of rolling hill up on this ridge. But more importantly, wide open skies. Not happy about that. Oh boy. Here we go. Don't mind rain. Just don't like being stuck out in the open in a thunderstorm. Good thing is it's a smaller one from what I can tell on the radar, and it's fast moving. Probably 30 minutes of rain and it'll be over, which one thing I'm hoping to get to Site 5. There's actually supposed to be a pit toilet there, like a latrine. If it's nice enough, I may just sit in it while it rains and just chill out. And then once the rain's over, maybe come out and have a quick bite to eat and head down the trail to Site 4. Site 5 is supposed to have a water pump and a pit latrine, so let's see what happens. That storm's right on top of me. It's starting to get really kind of dark in here, guys. Could be fun. All right, guys, the bulk of the storm is on me now. Just heard a clap of thunder less than a mile away. It is raining good. I just kind of stepped off the side of the trail here under these trees for a minute. At least so the thunder kind of gets on the other side of me. And then I'll be like heading on. I'm still on the trail that goes down to Site 5. I'm probably about 0.05 of a mile to the entrance to this area. And then I'll be back on the main path. And I'm just going to start heading towards Site 4 and pound out what I can while it's still raining. Probably might stop somewhere. I've got an almond butter in my pocket. I might grab that here in a minute. I am calorie low. I'm about to finish on my water too, a good drink of it. But I'm going to try to get to Site 4 in the next couple hours. If I have lunch before then, cool. If I find a nice little spot to sit down, kind of like I did yesterday, I will. Otherwise, I'm just going to head to site 4. Well, guys, it's about noon. It has quit raining. What you're hearing now, if you hear it, is raindrops actually off the trees. So, trail's pretty wet, kind of muddy now. I'm about a mile, 3/4 mile to a mile, heading towards site 4. But I found this little area where it's kind of open, a little bit wider on the trail here, if you see. Been slowly descending down into this valley ever since I left site 5, but I figured noon, I've been on trail almost 3.5 hours. So I'd go ahead and stop and just take a break since it's not raining. I'm going to go ahead and eat my lunch, fill up on some electrolytes, probably drink about 1 liter of water. That should leave me about 1 liter to try to get over to site 4. There is a water source if I decide I need to. Halfway between, it's supposed to be a flowing creek. If I have to, I can stop and filter. If not, I'm gonna try to head for site 4, refill my water there, probably have a snack, and then try to push to site 3. But I am going to go ahead and eat my lunch and relax for a few minutes, guys, because the toes are a little sore after being wet. My feet are soaked, so probably I'm not gonna take my socks off here because it is still kind of damp and stuff. But if by the time I get to site 4, it stopped raining and everything, I might kick them off really good. Let my feet kind of dry out for a few minutes, you know, while I set that at 15-20 minutes then. Well, I got my lunch over with. A little bit shorter lunch because I looked at the weather. It's supposed to start coming in another rainstorm, possibly a little bit more thunderstorm. So I kind of rushed it. Took about a 25-minute. I was planning on sitting down for at least 30, so definitely didn't get to sit down as long as I wanted. But I went ahead and got some water with electrolytes in it. I ate a couple of Spam blocks and had an almond butter that Jenny picked me up. So kind of caloried eat up. I mean, not perfect. I had planned on eating a little bit more and maybe even drinking a little bit more water, but I'm okay for now. In fact, yeah, it's raining now. I actually just put my pack on and it started raining, so that worked out okay. But I'm heading to site 4 now. Looked like I was about 3/4 of the mile away there, so we have, give or take, 3.75 miles to get to site 4. And I'm hoping by then the rain's kind of over and I can actually sit down for an extended period of time. I'm probably going to sit down for another 30 then. The rain is a detriment in allowing me to move faster, and I want a little bit more faster than I am. Because especially on the downhills, it's slick. If you notice, a lot of the trail is leaf covered, and even when it's not leaf covered, it's starting to get a little muddy. So everything is very slick. So I'm having to watch my footing on the downhills especially. And that's what I've been doing ever since I left site 5. And I'm still descending. Should go all the way into this valley, and then I'll come back out of it. Which I'll have to watch my footing going up as well, because yeah, definitely be slick. The good thing is, looking at the radar, once this band of showers goes through, and possibly the next storm, depending on where it tracks, it looks like I might be done with rain for a little while. There's still definitely chances of rain throughout the day, but as far as radar looks, should at least have a few hours with no rain. Maybe it'll dry out a little bit and I'll be able to move a little bit faster. But I definitely needed those calories, and the electrolyte water is definitely going to make me feel a little bit better. I'm not feeling bad, just I was starting to get hungry and I could tell my calories are gone. That was a hefty little trek from site 6 to site 5. Yeah, a lot of uphill, a lot of inclination, put you up on top of that ridge. It's kind of neat. And I've still got signal, or I did as I was sitting down. I figure I'll start losing as I move further into this valley. But the rain is definitely coming back in, guys. I went ahead and took off my rain jacket. That rain jacket works really good in the fall and winter and early spring, especially as a windbreaker, but also as a rain jacket itself. But right now, the temperatures are just too warm. I'm actually soaked anyway, just from sweat, which I kind of figured that might be the case with that rain jacket. I need something that has a little bit more ventilation, which is perfectly fine because those get more expensive, and it is one of the last pieces of gear that I kind of need to really be able to successfully hike in the summer and not worry about rain and such. But yeah, that I gotta shed that. My shirt is absolutely soaked. I mean, it was actually kind of pointless to put it on. And the difference between getting wet with rain and wet with sweat, I just feel nasty now. I wring my shirt out really good. I'm kind of hoping maybe the rain, I actually kind of soak the shirt out a little bit more. And when I wring it out again, it'll feel a little bit cleaner. But right now, it's just, ugh, it's all sweaty. But that happens. Live and learn. And we're going to move on and try to make some decent time in the rain, guys. Well, guys, the rain has come in pretty heavy again. It's actually a downpour. I actually just crossed a forest road that runs through the park, and I come into here and it just literally started downpouring. I'm kind of hunkered under trees right now for just a moment to record. Hopefully it'll happen here in a second. It's been thundering pretty heavily for the last few minutes. It's out this direction to the west, well, southwest. And yeah, there's a lot more thunder with this one than the last one, so it could get interesting. It's one reason I wanted to get out of that one section over here, because it was a little bit more open, and then the forest road, of course, is wide open. I'm trying to avoid the lightning. Hear it rumbling in the distance a little bit there. But yeah, I'm just going to keep going on. When I crossed the road, it did say 3.3 miles to Site 4. So I knocked that mile out as far as trail time in less than 25 minutes, even with the rain, so not too bad. This trail has actually been pretty easy. Between Site 5 and so far to this area, hasn't been too bad. The only problem is trail conditions are getting pretty rough out here, guys. The rain has not let up, and I've been hiking almost 30 minutes since last time I filmed, and it's just been pouring. Hearing thunder constantly in the distance. Had a couple of claps right above me too, but I'm just moving on. I mean, there's not much I can do. It is what it is. Sometimes you just get rained on when you're on trail, guys. And one, the rain has made the trail more interesting for me. It's not quite as boring today as it was yesterday. And two, this section of trail has been kind of pretty. In fact, there was a section back there that was about a mile and a half, where you hiked an incline, pretty gradual incline, not too bad. It reminded me a lot of Red River Gorge hiking up towards Daniel Boone's hut. There was a creek over here flowing that direction. In fact, it's still over there to an extent. I don't know how well the GoPro's picking it up, because it is very dark in these woods with the cloud cover, and then of course the foliage overhead. It might be a little while until I get to film again. My battery's almost dead, and I am not going to change batteries in the middle of a thunderstorm, so figure I'd definitely let you know that the trail conditions have gotten very, very nasty. I haven't really had any problems, but I figure once I hit a decline or incline, things may get kind of treacherous. But yeah, the trail is pretty much overflown now and very, very wet. But I'm still having a pretty good time today. Like I said, the rain has made it a little bit something different than what it was yesterday. It's not straight with walking, and this area is prettier, definitely. But I'm kind of ready for this rain to end, guys. Well, it stopped raining. It's just dripping off the trees right now. It has rained for almost 2 hours. I think we're still getting a sprinkle occasionally, but for the most part, it's coming off the trees. And I did that gradual incline, but now I'm seeing things like this. Like right through here was really treacherous with how wet it is. My feet were sliding. I thought I was going down a couple of different times, and my knees were like right here trying to get up that. And it does continue up here. I'm sure up in there is the ridge line. So I about got this elevation knocked out, but that was kind of crazy. But yeah, the rain has finally stopped. I did go ahead and get my battery changed, so I'll be able to record a little bit now. It's starting to lighten up some. I am drenched. I'm soaked. My feet are soaked. I mean, even my fingers, if you notice, are kind of wrinkled from holding the trekking poles, which are soaked. But still an enjoyable day. Definitely comfortable as far as temperature. Hopefully the rain has moved out, because I'm hoping to start drying out a little bit before I've got to settle in for camp tonight. Basically, my shirt and my pants, I don't even think I'm gonna put them in the tent. I'm just gonna figure out a way to get into the tent, you know, and just hang those on the outside of it, you know, up underneath the vegetables or something, so they can dry overnight. But yeah, I'm soaked through and through, guys. It's been fun though. Pretty little area down through here, and then of course started hitting these inclines. I'm like, oh man, I really wasn't looking forward to that. Well guys, a welcome change in the weather. The sun has come back out. Trail is drying out a little bit, and I'm making my slow descent to Site 4 now. Should be there, I'm hoping, within the next 20-30 minutes. Fill up on water and make the push to Site 3. Site 3 is actually 3.9 to 4 miles, give or take, what you're looking at from Site 4. And right now it's averaging me about 4 miles. It's taking me about 3 hours. So hopefully with no rain this time though, maybe it won't be quite as rough getting over to Site 3, because I did get a signal enough I was able to check the weather, and more than likely the rain's kind of moved out of the area. It's actually supposed to clear off tonight, and tomorrow's supposed to be really sunny, so tomorrow's hike should be really great. But I'm just looking forward to get over to Site 4 and sit down for a minute and just let the feet kind of stretch for a second. My feet are sore where they're wet. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Handling the elevations and the declinations pretty decent actually. There's a lot of them. I mean, yeah, I was expecting it, but yeah, when you come out and experience, it's a whole nother thing. But it hasn't been too bad. I mean, I've had other trails where I was much more tired than this, and I'm not feeling that right now. We'll talk to you when I get to site tonight and actually start setting up. I'll probably be good and tired by then. I'm not sure my mileage for the day right now. This is a little bit of a beast, I ain't gonna lie. But it's kind of nice to actually get out here and say, hey, yes, I know I can do these trails. Because this is, you know, of course, the hardest trail in Ohio. And once again, guys, doing this for 46 climbs. All proceeds that are done through them go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. If you guys want to donate, feel free to. You can donate till the end of the year. I'm just out here doing it during the event, which this is Suicide Prevention Week, and that's why they do it this week. But guys, if you do want to donate in my honor, in my name, and support the charity, definitely go down to the link below. I'll have it in the description, where you can go to my page and donate. Do whatever you like, you know, whatever you can afford. There's no pressure. It's just something that I felt I wanted to do, and I'm sharing with you guys. Nothing else, just give me a comment, a thumbs up even. I'll be happy with that. But I'm gonna get over here to Site 4. I'm starting to run a little bit low on water. I've got maybe 10 to 12 ounces. Really got to fill up on that. Probably haven't had my full water intake for the day yet, like I need to. So while I'm there, I think I'm just gonna fill the bottle up, my liter bottle I have on my back, and throw some electrolytes down in it and down it. Basically camel up. May even do a 2 of them. That way I'm good to go till I get to Site 3. I can just really pound out some mileage and get on over there. I'm hoping to be there no later than 7. That'll give me an hour to set up. Yay, we have water. I'll drop pack, fill up, guys. Needed that, guys. Really needed that. Got my little break done. We'll call it a water break. I didn't even sit down because there's nowhere to sit there. That was just the water fountain. Site 4 is actually still a little ways up, but I'm not worried about it. I'm just eager to get over to Site 3 and get the day over with. So I'm just moving on. As you saw, I cameled up on water. I actually drank that one and an additional 24 ounces of water, and then refilled this bottle here. That should be enough to get me to Site 4, or Site 3, excuse me. Looks like, trying to see which way we go here. Oh, there's some signage over here. Oh, okay. So Camp 4, Camp 3 is up that direction, 4 miles from here. We'll take a look real quick. This is Camp 4. It's actually right here. Not too bad. Looks like it's back over there. I see a fire ring, some places to sit. I'm not going on up in there. Actually, there's a fire ring right here. Kind of neat. Nice little area. Multiple places to camp. Let's see if we have signal by chance. I don't think I do. If I do, I may consider camping here. Looking at my phone now. Nah, didn't think I would. So yeah, I'm not going to stay here tonight because I mean, if I'd had signal, I would have considered it. It's a pretty low camp area though, and it's not too bad. Water is just over there as you saw, so it's not too far. And if you prefer to filter your own water, there is a nice running creek right there, right beside the campsites. So this isn't bad. And I pretty much figured we're going to have an incline almost immediately. That's still coming off the trees via the water. So starting up an incline. Pretty sure it's a steep incline. Then we have a small decline, a small incline, and then a decline to Site 3. So it's basically going to be a lot of up and down. There's not going to be much flat in this 4 miles here. But this is the last push for the day. Well, I came up from Site 4, that large elevation gain I was telling you about. That was a beast. It's not the hardest one I've done today, but I'd put it number 2. And after being on trail, well, I started at 8:30 and it's 4:15. Been on trail almost 8 hours. Was not looking forward to doing that. But part of the reason I am pushing to Site 3 is I didn't want to do that incline first thing in the morning. I hate doing a massive incline like that as soon as you get up. It makes it very difficult to get your rhythm, and it normally takes me a couple miles, and that would have stunk very first thing in the morning. Plus, it is only 4:15. If I'd have camped at Site 4, I'd have been set up by now, pretty much, with nothing to do, because it's too wet to do a fire today. I mean, I could have struggled to get one, and I know I could have gotten a fire going, but I only have a very small bushcraft knife and my Baco Laplander saw. Well, it's actually Alex's, I'm borrowing it. And I wouldn't have been able to really split big enough pieces of wood to get down into some dry timber to actually get something going. I mean, I guess if I looked around I could have, but I just don't, with how tired I am and how wet I am. Right now, I'm just wanting to get to a site, get set up, and get my feet dry for one. They're really starting to get tender. And two, just stretch out the muscles. My legs are really tense. My back's a little tense. Got a little bit of a maze to kind of go through here, guys. It's a blowdown. Ow, got smacked in the face. This is like, well, this is probably actually the worst I've seen. There's been a couple I've had to kind of crawl across, but nothing major. This is by far the worst. So I get up over this. Ooh, which I guess I better watch that point. Ouch. All right, let's try it now. And this is what you do when you backpack, guys. You crawl over crap. Ow. Wish I had longer legs. Wish I was taller. Wish I was like 6'3" like my brother. This type of stuff wouldn't be bad. Whoa. All right, that could almost be a blooper. He even got a spider web on the lens, guys. But I'll probably leave that in because you have to do that type of stuff sometimes. And that really wasn't some of the worst I've seen. I think actually, yeah, I got a little scrape on my leg. No big deal. Go touch it up when I get to site. A little bit of alcohol, a little bit of antibiotic cream. Good to go. Yeah, this hasn't been too bad up on this ridge. If you notice, it's kind of pretty up that direction. This way is more overgrown. It's a little bit more open over here. Still not super great views. Like I said, if you really want to do this trail and test yourself, I'd come out and after all this has fallen, or come out in the early spring when it hasn't come in yet. Maybe even late April, where it's a little bit warmer, but you get better views. I mean, it really would make a difference. Now this section of trail, since I left site 6, especially since I've left site 5, has been a lot prettier. And I would say not as hard, but I mean, you do still get these inclines and that, you know, like this right here, these inclines like that. And that last incline was a beast. And this is technically ridge walking, and I've still got this type of incline. I've been on this logging road here for about, I'd say, a quarter mile now. Definitely easy going, much nicer than the ups and downs I've been facing. And I'm trying to make up some time here, trying to get into sight early enough that, you know, it's still a little daylight when I go to set everything up. But I don't know, I might be looking at kind of getting close to dark by the time I get there. These inclines, I mean, they say you know, you look at the topo and you're on a ridge. There's a lot of ups and downs on those ridges, guys. It's not very easy doing those either, especially after you've, you know, been on trail as long as I have. But this is, like I said, just a forest road, and it's afforded me a little bit of mobility and movement, and I am making up some time here, just banging it out as fast as possible. I think once I get off of this, I'll start descending down into the valley towards that creek that I mentioned earlier. Once I do that, there'll be a small incline, small decline, and I'll be at site. So I'm getting closer and closer to my goal for the day. And definitely this year, it's been a while since I've hiked this much in a day, and definitely hiked this heavily. So, and to be honest, especially if I get into site between 7 and 8, this will probably be the longest day I've ever hiked as far as time wise. The only other time that would probably been in that ballpark was when Alex and I were at Red River Gorge the last day. We hiked from about 8 in the morning to about 6:30. So I'm looking at probably about 8:30 to 7:30. So just a hair bit longer. I don't know the distance. I'll get that on the screen towards the end of the video and let you guys know how much distance and elevation I've done today. But it's going to be definitely the most I've done in over a year, maybe even a couple of years. But I'm feeling pretty good. Legs are okay. They get really stiff on the uphills. I'm starting to get a little spot in my back that's not feeling the greatest. But having a pack on for as long as I have today and not really sitting down much, I can understand. I literally have only sat down since I left site 25 minutes. So I'm probably overdoing it. I figure I'll pay for it tomorrow, and definitely once I get home I'll be paying for it for a few days. But that's what the idea behind the 46 climbs is. You know, you go out and challenge yourself, and I definitely have today, and I'm quite happy with the results. May not be happy the way I feel, especially in the morning, but this is for charity. This is for a good cause, and I'm out here doing what I can do, guys. Has turned off really pretty though. If you can tell, the sky's pretty blue in most directions. You know, a few white clouds. It's sunny. The ground is drying out now. I'm drying out a little bit. My shirt's about half dry. It's just damp to the touch, and my shorts have dried out. Unfortunately, my shoes and feet are still soaked because there are quite a few times I've still had to gone through taller grass and weeds and such. And when I do that, they're soaked still, and it just makes my my feet wet again. They'll get a little dry, then they'll get soaked again. So Haven't been able to dry those out as much as I'd like. I'll be doing that once I get to site. I've probably been rewarded with something of a view. It's kind of neat. Not the greatest I've ever seen, but it's kind of cool. I would assume right over there is where the trail's going down into this valley. Basically into that stand of trees, I would assume. I could be wrong. That may just be another forest road. But at least I did get a little bit of a view. Got the little ascent where I told you I was down the valley next to that creek, and I would have an ascent, and then the next descent will be actually down to where campsite 3 is. That wasn't the worst that I've seen on trail. I mean, logically looking at it, I know it wasn't the worst, but where it is the end of the day, and I've been on trail so long and still soaking wet, that just was miserable. I mean, I'm to the point now, every 15 feet elevation gain is eating my calves alive. I'm really sore, but like I said, I really wanted to push it and prove to myself that I can do a harder trail and actually maintain some amount of mileage throughout a day. So I've done that. Just feeling a little worse for wear, but I'm up on a ridge now and just kind of ridge walking. It's not as bad now. Legs aren't hurting, and it has been kind of flat since I topped that incline. A lot of these ridges have been up and down, and you get a little bit more elevation as you're doing it. I'm not seeing that on this one. And looking at the top of it, actually showed it should be pretty flat for the next 2/10 of a mile. Well, once I topped it, 2/10 of a mile. Probably got another 1/10 of a mile, and then I should start my descent into site 3, which would be really awesome. I'm ready to definitely get the day done. In fact, I think when I first get to site, first thing I'm probably going to do, well, get my battery bank out so I can charge my phone, and a couple odds and ends like that. But I think the next thing I'll do will probably be go ahead and cook dinner. Once I get dinner going, got my water boiling, I will probably kick my shoes off and put my camp shoes on, dry my feet really good, check for blisters. Should have done that earlier, but I just knew I was pressed for time, and I'm trying to get in here to site by 6:30, so I have a little bit more time tonight to kind of do a few things before it gets dark. It's just easier that way. And then once it gets dark, we'll see what's going on. I may chill out for a little bit, look at the stars if I can see them. I may even cook a second dinner because I am really, really hungry. It's gonna take me an hour to get the spider webs off of me. I'm covered. I mean, even though those guys come through this area and it did all that raining, the minute it quit raining, I would assume these spiders jumped out and started building their webs, man, because the whole trail's been covered again. Well, guys, I come down the declination to water, had a little more elevation, and it's a woods walk, and it spilled me out into this meadow. Really cool. It's kind of funny, there's intertwining trails all through this. I'm making a beeline to the road because I know site 3 is over in here somewhere. Just gotta figure out exactly where it's at. Looks like it's pointing straight across the way here, maybe. Site 3. Now, if we took this road straight out that way, that's where the car would be, about 5 miles. Not doing that today. And over here, this is actually a Boy Scout camp up in here too, so that's pretty cool. We're making our way. There's another orange blaze, so definitely on the right track here. But site 3 should just be up here, just off this little road. But yeah, definitely not going to be isolated tonight. I'm not complaining. It's kind of pretty. Take a look over here real quick. That's really nice. Might try to walk back down here and get some more video of that in the morning. I'm just kind of in a rush to get over here because it is 6:50 right now. A little bit later than I wanted, but we'll have sun a lot longer today. Probably won't get dark till about 8:30, so got plenty of time to get sights set up and get done what I need to do before it gets dark. I'm beat, guys. That took it out of me. Feet are really hurting. Legs are pretty sore. Even my back's starting to hurt. Never had back pain on trail before. Kind of stinks. I'm gonna get up here and see what site 3 looks like. Finally made it over here to site 3. Very exhausting day. Got my water, got everything set up, as you can see here. The light's showing up, that's the tent. We'll take a look at the site tomorrow once the sun's up, but for tonight I'm kind of done. I got my water boiling now. I'm gonna eat dinner. But guys, if you've enjoyed this video, definitely like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate all of you doing that. It definitely helps us out here at the channel. I'm gonna head to bed here in a few minutes, guys. I will see you on the trail tomorrow for day 3 here at Shawnee State Forest. Until then, guys, always remember to live your grand adventure to the fullest. I will see you on the trail tomorrow. Until then, guys, take care.